Hello everyone, how are we all doing? Come on in, sit on down. Sorry I'm late, I'm fashionably late as usual for those who've been sat around waiting for 45 minutes for me to turn up. I do apologise. I was on a podcast with the guys over at the Nephilim Death Squad. Yes, I've been talking about all things UFOs and Millennial Kingdom with those guys. It was an interesting conversation. It went many ways I wasn't expecting it to go. So you can go check that out if you're interested. I think it was live on their Rumble channel and also on their Patreon as well if you're interested. But here I am, better late than never. I went downstairs and made myself a pot of tea with the gift my wife got me for Christmas, which I'm quite happy about. Look at that. So yeah. I'm here now, guys, so I do apologise. Let me just check the chat, make sure you guys can hear me loud and clear. I have a brand new microphone, an SM7B. I don't know what I sound like to you guys. I've been playing with everything all day. I think I've got the sound quality just right. You let me know if this sounds good or bad. I think it should be a marked improvement over what I used to have. And I am just going to very quickly try something different here. I'm going to switch my webcam over, and that does not work yet, so I'm still figuring out something else. I'm trying to use another webcam and that doesn't work. But how are we doing, guys? I'm here for a Q&A session, last one of the year. I won't be doing anything tomorrow. Like I said, I've been busy. I had Vitali on a couple of days ago to talk about the release of his book Soul in the Belly. That did turn up. Here it is. I've got my own copy now. Go and get yours on Amazon. I've been skimming through it quickly, but it's an interesting read with diagrams to boot, which I'm quite intrigued about. It's got pictures. People love pictures, you know, as I've been told from negative reviews of my own book. But it looks good. It looks fun, and I'm happy to have it on my bookshelf. And you can go listen to my talk with Vitali from Alpha Talks on my channel if you're interested in the concept behind all of that. And like I said, I'm doing back-to-back shows. I've just spent 2 hours with Raven and Top Lobster, and I'm about to spend another 2 hours with you lovely people as well. So I'm going to take the day off tomorrow, and I don't celebrate New Year, but I guess I'm just going to chill out with the family. Because that's the thing, guys. I've been away for a month. I have been sitting down, couching and nesting, holding a newborn since they were born at the start of the month. And I've just been in that mode, you know, new family member mode, just baby looking after mode, and keeping everything in order with the family mode. But it's funny because this time where I had to take time off to just take a step back, it's when loads of crazy stuff started to happen, and I wasn't available to make a commentary on them at the time. But this month has been a little bit weird, hasn't it? There's a lot of interesting things that have occurred, which I do need to discuss and give my 2 cents on, I think is the American phrase there. So here I am today to do that. As you can tell from the thumbnail, today I do want to talk about the Billy Carlson Wes Huff expose that happened. I want to talk about the final experiment, which is the supposed nail in the coffin of the flat earth as they presented it. And of course, the release of the drones and orbs over New Jersey and then onwards. I think these are topics that do need to be discussed. And I am looking forward to talking about them, to be honest. But I also have a guest in at the back end of the show. I've got Nicolette from Biblically Based to join me again to share her new idea surrounding volcanoes and how that can also tie to the Millennial Kingdom as well. So she'll be coming on maybe in about 45 minutes to give her case too, and I'm going to answer a few questions with you guys as well while I'm at it. So yeah, lots to do today, lots to look forward to. Let me just quickly get some information up here on the screen so I can see what's going on. I've got 138 people here right now. Fantastic. All right, so webcam back up, and what I'm upset about is I have a webcam here. It's a DJI tracker camera that kind of tracks where you go and everything. On a gimbal, and it gives off really good images, and I've just used it with the Nephilim Death Squad podcast, and it looked really good, a lot higher quality than what you're seeing currently here. And this is only 720p max, but this one goes up to 1080. But for some reason, now that I've gone onto OBS, it just doesn't connect. So I've had to use the built-in webcam instead. So I'm kind of annoyed about that. I've wasted 15 minutes just trying to get that to work, which is why I'm running even later than I would have otherwise. Maybe I need to look into it. Maybe it's human error. I've made a mistake somewhere along the way. But yeah, it should be good. It should be good. So if Nicolette, if you are listening, sorry I'm late. I will still get you on. You just check your emails. I will announce when I'm going to do it, and I'll send you a link to a Zoom call so you can come on and share your work as well. So that will be happening too, guys. So let's just check who's in the chat. Who have we got? We've got the regular faces. Let me just get rid of this as well because this is in my way. Docs. Control panel. There it is, so I can see the full chat as well. Wendy's here. Great to see you. My wife's in there keeping you all placated and telling you where I am. Did I hear correctly that Paul is doing a podcast with Noel, not Noah, it's Noel Hadley, from the Unexpected Cosmology in the future? I already have. I've talked to Noel about half a year ago on his channel and my channel. You can go find them on my live section tab, I assume, and his as well. We've already had a conversation, and yeah, maybe again in the future we might do. I don't know though. The government definitely know what those drones are, says SP. It certainly seems that way, but we'll get into that soon. I've got Stephen Morris, we got Peter Vaughan, we got Susie G, we got Dawn, we got Jesse, we got Matthias. We've got everybody here, all the regular faces. It's good to see you all. Thanks for being here. We've got Cassandra as well. We got Kyle, we got Pam, great to see you as always. Amelia, great to see you. Yeah, it's looking good. It's looking good. The Debunker Brigade really fumbled the bag on this one. It says Taciturnus Infabalis. I don't know what you're talking about there. Are you pro or against whatever? But I don't know. We'll find out. Elon's mother is always throwing the one-eyed symbolism. She sure is. Yeah, right. Great to see some regular faces there. Linda, great to see you as well. Unbearified Bear, fantastic. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff, guys. Right, so I guess I'll just get straight into it. You know, this month started out quite interesting for me. So there it is. It's like 3 a.m. I'm feeding a baby, you know, every 3 hours. So I'm pulling the night shift, and I'm finding loads of stuff on my feed about Billy Carson and Wes Huff. And people are sending me loads of links in the Telegram group, and I'm like, what is this? So that kept me entertained, I'm not going to lie, for like the good early portion of December. I was watching the drama unfold over this guy, and you know, watching the breakdown from the not necessarily conspiracy community, but from like the Christian YouTube community, which I didn't even know really existed, but the historian Christian community, shall we say. And they're all kind of loving Wes for what he did, and making owned videos, and just absolutely just showing Billy Carson for the narcissistic charlatan that he seems to be. And I have it was fun for me to see, and I don't make a habit of like disparaging people on the channel. I don't talk about Billy Carson. I wouldn't have brought this up if it hadn't already been like exposed to the public anyway. But I kind of mentioned in the Telegram group months and months and months ago that Billy Carson is just in my feed everywhere currently on YouTube. I'm getting nothing but Billy Carson shorts, and he's just talking about nonsense with a G at the start. Not only that, he was just making stuff up, just making up history that doesn't exist anywhere. Talking about the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, which I always knew was just a lot of nonsense as well. And it's kind of, he was just talking about things which I knew weren't true. And it's kind of like I said explicitly on the Telegram group, this guy is literally just making stuff up. And I mean that. He's just things that aren't true or have no basis in any reality or no evidence. He's just saying out loud as he goes with confidence. And he's kind of creating a cult of personality around himself, presenting himself as the foremost expert on ancient history just because he said so. And it's kind of, I knew this guy was just a snake oil salesman from the beginning, making a lot of money off the New Age Antichrist movement online, just saying, Jesus is just a representation of the sun, all that type of stuff, the usual zeitgeist stuff, which itching ears want to hear when you have an Antichrist spirit. People want to hear that kind of stuff. So they're willing just to accept the lie just because he said it, and they're going to prop him up because he's confident as their figurehead. And he became that figurehead, the Forbidden Truth group as he created. But I saw through him straight away. I knew he was just talking bollocks from the start. But I didn't do anything. I didn't come after the guy. I'm not interested. So when I saw Billy Carson exposed videos coming up, I had to check it out. And lo and behold, it was him and what seemed like a recent Christian convert host, which I'm sure Billy was pretty peeved about from the looks of things, talking to a guest called Wes Huff, who's he has a humble, decent-sized YouTube channel, about, I think, 30,000 at the time. He's probably under 100, 200,000 now. And he just talks about history, biblical history, and the evidences we have for the text and all these type of things. He's a historian. And he basically just dismantled everything Billy had claimed calmly with evidence, just books and the truth, he really is an expert on history, ancient history, and Billy Carson is a fraud. He doesn't actually know what he's on about, and everything he said is verifiably was proven false in this moment. And then that was that, and I watched it, and I thought, yeah, that was pretty fun to watch, but no surprise. It wasn't surprising, but then the backlash to all of it was insane. It blew up big time. And I could tell watching Wes talking, even he was I didn't expect this. I did not see this coming. I just said what I always say, and but he wasn't. I don't think he quite understood just what he had done, and even he was we all need to take a step back here. I think he was a little bit overwhelmed with the attention he got as a result of doing this. But it needed doing, and God clearly used him in that way to bring Billy down a peg, because Billy does this after show, explaining his side of the story, and he is actually suing both of them, claiming he was ganged up on or something. I don't know what his claims are; they're completely baseless anyway. And because he realizes if this gets out, it was a cease and desist. I think you can't release the podcast. He was knocking on the door of the guy he presented with, saying, "You cannot release this podcast. He's a cease and desist from my lawyer," And it's because he knew if this gets out, his career is over. It's over. There's no coming back from it, because everything he's built his career on was just unequivocally destroyed and dismantled in this one 2-hour podcast, if that. So he got litigation involved, and that obviously did not play into his hand as well as he thought it would. It only made things worse for him, because the podcast came out anyway, because, that's the internet. Everything's on there, and you can't get rid of it, And he panicked. He went into panic mode. So after that, he went into damage control mode, like I said, and did his own 2 to 3 hour long rant, talking about how rich he is. It was really weird. It was such an odd thing to look at, and he was just sat there saying, I had a bad day. My fifth, what was it? What was it? Something like the elevator to my mansion was broken or something like that, and my fifth air conditioner was broken or something like this. And he was doing these humble brags through conversation about how big his house is and how much money he has and how expensive his stuff is. And he was talking about how I make a lot of money, not like these working class schmucks out there, and it's kind of I'm not just some nobody out there who has a minimum wage job and all these type of things. And he was proper just laying into his fan base, and it's it was hard to watch in a way, because it's how can somebody be so oblivious to how out of touch they sound? And it's he is clearly was so lost in his world for so long, and so proud of all of his stuff, that he actually genuinely believed he was a god and better than other people because he had so much money and stuff. He genuinely clearly believes that. And he thought that was a legitimate defense to back up who he is and what he does. Well, I'm rich, so I must be right, and I deserve everything I've got because I'm rich. It's who thinks like that? Only the mind of a narcissist. Only the mind of somebody who really does see themselves as a god, as infallible, as perfect as being a narcissist. You know, it is what it is, and it's kind of the mask came off with that video, and I don't see him coming back from this. How can you? You know, how can you? And there's many like comments now of people saying basically like that Wes Huff podcast has changed my life. I've converted to Christianity. I've realized I've been following a loser charlatan who's just been lying to me all this time, and I never even considered that there was actually any real evidence for Christianity till this moment. And now that I've seen it, I'm a convert. It's changed my life, you know. And it's kind of he is hemorrhaging followers, he's hemorrhaging money, his book sales are going to come to a halt now, you know, and because he didn't only just get proven wrong about everything he had said and has been claiming for a long time and repeating on many podcasts about the validity of Christ and Christianity and the truth behind it all by just making up falsified stories that make no sense and have no basis in reality. Not only was his entire work just destroyed, but then he destroyed his own character and any semblance of connection he had to his own fan base immediately afterwards by attacking them and talking about how rich he is. It's such a dramatic fall from, I don't want to say grace, because I never thought he had any grace to begin with. I thought like he was a snake oil salesman, but it's kind of wow. Like, talk about pride. Talking about falling, you know, due to pride. It was all there. All of it was there. And I pray for Billy. I really do. Like, he is a man who needs Jesus. He can reject Jesus as much as he wants. He can deny the truth as much as he wants. He can profit off denying the truth as much as he wants. But God will not be mocked. And I think this is it. This was his moment. This is right. God's like, right, you've had your time. Now it's mine. You know, he just slapped him off that pedestal, and it's kind of his conversion story will be an amazing one if that does truly happen, and if he does repent and come to Jesus, that would be incredible. And I hope that for him. Who knows? Who knows what work God's working in his life? Perhaps God is in the process of bringing him down to nothing, taking everything away from him. That's a source of his pride. Humbling him and proving him wrong through every facet of his words and aspects of his life to bring him to Christ. Maybe that's what it takes. Who knows? Yeah, Billy's female handler didn't have a firm grip on him, says Constantine. Yeah, he has his wife, who he said explicitly has said she has earned the right to be my wife. She worked for it. You know, I wouldn't just marry anybody. It's that type of attitude. It's like, wow. Who the hell speaks like that? You know, and it's a good thing. This is only a good thing for Billy as well. Hopefully this will be a turning moment in his life. Hopefully, probably not. Probably, I'm not holding my breath, you know. But we do have to pray for the man at the end of the day. Maybe he really does believe his own nonsense. Maybe he really does believe it. I don't know. Maybe he's actually fallen for his own crap, and he's getting high in his own supply. Perhaps I don't know what's going on there, you know. But wow. So if you didn't know about that story, I've just filled you in there. It's still going. I think he's still going through the litigation, I assume. And like I said, Wes Huff is now blown up. He is a huge figurehead now, and he has done a lot for the kingdom of Christ. He has brought many people to Christ, and he was in the right place at the right time. He has definitely done something wonderful there by removing off the chessboard a key player for the enemy, shall we say. Very humbly as well, very calm, very well done, very Christian of him the way he did it. So that's wonderful. Yeah, maybe I'll reach out and try to have a conversation with the guy in the future. I'm not sure if he'll like the little season stuff I'm talking about. I'm sure he might have a thing or two to say about that. But, you know, who knows? I still think he's a brother in Christ, and I'm thankful for what he did either way. So, yeah, there we go. That's the first thing I want to talk about, which I witnessed at the start of the month. And I was like, right, this is great. You know, what's next? And it turns out it's aliens. That's what was next. I was like, okay, right. Well, it wasn't just aliens. Actually, first it was the final experiment. And then aliens. I noticed the timing on this. It was odd. So out of nowhere, I'm on my feed. I'm subscribed to most of the Flat Earth channels, and I was seeing Jeranism streaming all these things, and I realized, oh, I remember this because a few months ago I was talking to John LeBon, who has his own podcast, and he used to be a part of that Flat Earth group when they first had their round tables back in like 2015, 16. But he was skeptical. And he was always saying like, yeah, but what about this? What about that? And this model doesn't quite work. And he kind of realized there's a bit of a cultish attitude with all these flat earthers. It's getting a bit weird. It's kind of, and he kind of left and did his own thing. Because he realized this group isn't actually willing to reason. It seems like they had a bit of an agenda, is what he was feeling like, it seems. So he interviewed the man who started this flat earth final experiment thing. If I can just get it up here so I can get the names right. I'm not, again, I'm sorry, I'm poorly prepared for this, but it is what it is. So the final experiment. I'm on the website now. See if I can get, I'll just share the screen with you so you can see what I'm looking at. But yeah, I'm on the website now for the final experiment. I'm trying to find the names of the people who were involved, so participants. Yeah, so here we go. We had Kingdom in Context, Witsit Gets It, and we had Jeren from Jeranism, and we have the globe side here. So these were the flat earther sides, and this was the globe side. Okay, whatever. But there was, I can't remember the guy who ran all this. Why his name isn't on this for some reason. This is very odd. You'd think he would be on this, wouldn't you? But the name of the guy who started all this is eluding me. But basically, I remember he got interviewed by John LeBon. And I listened to that interview, and me and John talked about it when he came onto my Truth or Therapy sessions. And he was telling me about this experiment where he's trying to get flat earthers to come, and none of them are answering the call. You know what I mean? And next thing I know, a month later, nope, they're on the way. It's all done. Everything's booked and sorted. They're on the way. So it clearly wasn't that difficult to get this sorted, and it wasn't taking him as long as he was making it out. So there we go. They went there. Okay, they actually went to the South Pole. So they're saying, and that's it now. It's over. Argument's over. We saw a 24-hour sun, therefore it's definitely real. The Earth's a globe. Full stop. Done. We can finally put an end to all of this flat Earth nonsense. We never have to talk about it ever again. And let's put a pin in that and move on, yeah? That's basically what all of this was about. That was kind of the attitude behind it. Will Duffy, everyone's telling me that's right, Will Duffy. And John LeBon was excited about Will Duffy's experiment and idea, and I told John, I said, look, John, yeah, the guy can do this, and maybe he probably will see a 24-hour sun. But that doesn't suddenly mean the Earth is a globe. And of course, in a way, it gives issues for the round disk model version where the Antarctica is a big circular disk around, the South Pole is actually just a big ring of ice. It gives problems, but there are models out there using reflection off the firmament that explain how it can seem like there's a 24-hour sun. So the people have done that, It's not like it's completely just, that's it now, final net is over. Like the Earth is now a globe, NASA's correct all of a sudden. Just because some people go out there and film a 24-hour sun, I really don't think it means that. But that's kind of the sentiment behind it all. It's like, this will get them. This will get the flat earthers. It's over for flat Earth now. There's no coming back from it. This is it, We've proven it unequivocally. Let's name and shame the people who said all this. It's done, It's like, no, it isn't. Suddenly, no, it isn't. It doesn't mean anything. Like, the Earth is an enclosed system. We don't know the model. And yeah, no, the model that has been presented, is it the Mercator map? Is that the one one that the UN uses, for example? I mean, that's just a model. It's a map. It's not actually the reality of the situation. Like, they're defeating a straw man here. It's not it's not difficult to say there. That's not a very good map. It's quite easy to put it down. And it's kind of, it doesn't prove anything. And I never thought this would prove anything. And I still don't think it's proven anything. So they did it anyway. And, Jeranism's there saying, yeah, I wouldn't believe it if I hadn't seen it myself, guys, but here we go, 24-hour sun. Whoa, I was wrong, you know, I guess this is it, it's over. And it's like, these are the people out there saying, it's true, it's here, you know, I've seen it, look at the mountains over there, you know, I've got a snowball right here, runs off, comes back with this piece of ice in his hand. And it looks convincing enough, you know, it doesn't seem like they faked it on the surface or anything like that. But then I've watched as it's unfolded over the past week, and now, obviously, because I have a Telegram group where people are posting stuff all the time, I'm seeing a lot of debunking videos coming out now, which seem to be showing quite a lot that they may have legitimately, through green screen, computer technology, modern movie-making techniques, put on a full production to make it seem like they were genuinely in Antarctica witnessing this thing when they actually weren't. And one of the more compelling ones I saw recently is that there's videos of the guys walking around in the snow and they're not leaving behind any footprints. There's like a delay on the footprints appearing or something like that. It's kind of, well, that's pretty damning because we all know what snow does when you step in it. You can't really fake that, you know what I mean? And that's interesting that a lot of this people have just now started to pick it apart at the seams, and it really is seeming like it was a fully orchestrated show, you know, by people who've been in the game for a long time in the flat earth movement. It seems like, what do you know, lo and behold, they were in on the whole thing, and it was their job to be defeated. Like they were supposed to be out there building up a profile for many years as the people who definitively sell the idea, knowing in their contracts up in like 5 years time or 10 years time where they're going to get removed and they're taken off that pedestal by the other player. You know, it's all orchestrated Masonic theatre at the end of the day, as we like to say. So it seems like that's it, you know, and it's interesting. I mean, I've personally, I don't care about talking about the flat earth topic myself. I believe we live in an enclosed system. I believe in biblical cosmology. I think it is a flat plane, but the actual shape of it, how the enclosed system works, and involving portals, as I explained in Enoch for the luminaries and all sorts. I don't really understand it perfectly. I haven't got a working model in my mind. I just know it's not what NASA told us. I know that. It's clearly not a big ball flying through space. You know what I mean? That's not what's going on there. And I find the timing of this final experiment very telling, because not long after the nail in the coffin of flat Earth was solidified through this, whatever the hell you want to call this thing, this event, this expedition, aliens start to turn up. I'm like, okay, I'm seeing a narrative unfold now. I'm starting to see it, and before I knew it, I was seeing the comments appear on people's channels and videos saying like, are you guys still talking about the flat earth? The TFE has finally put an end to this debate. It's over. The 24-hour sun has proven you wrong. It's time to leave this stupid thinking behind. It's kind of like, so these idiots have now been emboldened to make that comment. They've been given something now they can use as a weapon against people who talk about alternative cosmology. Because right now we need to be focusing on aliens because of what started to suddenly turn up in New Jersey not like a week after this event. Orbs in the sky and drones chasing after the orbs and fighting each other and coming out of the sea en masse, and, you know, mass hysteria in the media was pointing the camera at the drones. And even the mainstream media covered the flat earth experiment, you know, and was posting it everywhere too. And could it be that the whole point of the TFE was to set up and solidify that the Earth really is a ball in space, to make people more confident of the alien interpretation of the soft disclosure events that have suddenly started happening? That's all it was for. It was just so no one could say, oh no, space isn't real, aliens aren't real, and then people can go, no, we've already proven for a fact that the flat earth is false because of the TFE. We know these are aliens. It's giving people that ammunition to having those arguments. It's all just an absolute con when you actually think about it. I feel like that's what's happened. I really do feel like that's what's going on here. I think the timing is impeccable. absolutely impeccable. And I knew, what's this? Airwalk Zephyr says, I knew what Jerem was and who he worked for when I heard him say that. I hope there's no zombies. I strongly dislike corpses. I hope the end time scenario doesn't involve zombies too. Facts Paul says, Johnny, Unfiltered Truth. Good to see both Wendy and Cage fight. It sure is. Lucas, watching the wide range of comments needs popcorn. Absolutely. And it's kind of, they're all fighting over a straw man model anyway, because no one truly knows the creation of God. No one can understand or comprehend its creation and all of its glory and psychedelic properties. It's a fool's errand to begin with, and it's a fool's debate to get involved with. You can't say what it is, but you can definitely say what it's not. And it's not a giant pear-shaped rock covered in water spinning through space. It's just not. It is none of those things. The only reason you've been sold that idea over the past 150 years, along with evolutionary theory, is to solidify aliens as a possibility. So when the manifestation of the interdimensionals come through, the demons, the Nephilim horde, the fallen angels, and Lucifer reveal themselves, you have been programmed through all this indoctrination to interpret them as aliens from space. That falls apart if we're in an enclosed system, so they can't have it. So this final experiment, timed with the sudden appearance of interdimensional light beings, is just, I don't believe in coincidences. I don't believe in them. Okay, so it seems like that's what, to me, as a thinking man, as a man who has pattern recognition abilities, I'm seeing a pattern here, and it seems like that's what's going on. And let's talk about the orbs, shall we? The UFOs. I mean, someone sent me a video on Telegram. Let's see if I can get it up. I want to share it with you. It was on Twitter originally. And maybe I'll just search. Probably easier to search chat than do anything else. Maybe I should just do. Sorry, guys. Underprepared again. This is exactly what I saw. Yeah, so here we go. I've got the video here now. I'll play this. Make sure to mute it. Right, so this is the video I saw. Screen. Here we go. So I saw this video of some of the drones or orbs in the sky. And as you can see here, they're kind of manifesting and appearing, floating, changing form, glowing in and out of reality, shall we say. Odd phenomena. Freaky looking stuff, fiery red orbs, like just smokeless fire, should we say. And these aren't behaving like drones, because they're fading and manifesting out of reality and reappearing in different places. And I know these aren't drones because I saw this exact same thing happen in Lincoln, in the east of the UK, in 2012. Right above my head. I was as far away as this person is filming this here now, is as far away as I was from them when I was walking down the street at 2 a.m. in the morning, back to my home. This is what I witnessed. I witnessed this. I've seen this exact phenomena right above me, and it was silent. Just as silent as this is now. There's nothing happening. And it's eerie to witness, and they were floating around, manifesting in and out of reality. And I've actually told this story on the channel many times, this phenomena that I've witnessed, and I've explained this UFO thing many times to you guys. So when I saw that video, I was like, yeah, I know that. I've seen that. This is nothing new. This is nothing new, guys. What you're seeing here has been happening all over the earth as a phenomena forever. It's always been happening. It's just that people who talk about it were always fringe and on the edges, and the videos that were released were always on YouTube and laughed at and scoffed and called fake, and no one took it seriously, and people were part of like, you were just a crazy conspiracy theorist, tinfoil hat wearing nut job, every time someone witnessed something like this and gave a report, it just went down on some report somewhere, but were never manifested into anything or became anything. The only difference now is that the mainstream media is talking about it and pointing the cameras at them. But they're not new. I don't even think they're in any higher intensity than they always were. I think they've always been like this. They've always been there. They've always been doing this. The only difference now is the masses have been told to look at them. So they're finally looking up and paying attention to them. And that's it. Because these things have been working in the earth for a long time. And I've heard many interpretations. Many people are saying they are angels. They are good things. They're peacekeepers. People are saying, the military is saying they're harmless. They don't seem to be causing us any harm. I've heard one whistleblower on 4chan saying something like, they seem to be more like zookeepers in a way. They're just watching us to make sure we don't hurt each other. And they only ever get involved when we get a little bit too violent or do something a bit silly. And there's kind of nothing we can do about them. They're just kind of there whether we like it or not. And the military just accepts their presence and just gets on with things. And they only ever really intervene in a very godlike way of just making the tools inactive, whenever we seem like we're about to do something silly with them. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but that gives them like a guardian angel-like aura to them. I've heard people saying they are the Ophanim, which are the wheels within wheels witnessed by Ezekiel, the thrones of God, because of some of the images and videos we've seen of the whirling lights and like balls of light just spinning around each other in circular fashions. So people say, these must be angels manifesting in some way. I've heard other people saying they're just straight up aliens, the basic bitch interpretation, shall we call it. And then you've got these are interdimensionals coming through to our reality, And then you got the typical, these are actually demons pretending to be beings of light. These are no wonder, for Lucifer poses as an angel of light. And you've got the Christians saying they're demons manifesting. You've got some Christians saying they're angels manifesting. You've got mainstream people saying they're aliens manifesting. You've got New Agers saying these are spiritual entities manifesting here to guide us to a new level of consciousness. Everyone's got their own bloody story to what these things are. MK Ryan sent me a video on, I think it was MK Ryan on the Telegram again. Let me have a look if I can find this. I think it was about birds. Something like that. I'm just going to type in birds. Yeah, now the birds are flashing lights. So let's just play this one. I'll share the screen with you. Give me a second, guys. Give me a second. So I'm sharing the screen. Here's the Telegram again. So I think you can see this. And you've got this bird flying in the sky, and it's flickering and flashing in places. Very odd. I don't know if that's clear to you guys or not. I'm not sure. As you see, it's got like a flicker going on here and a flash. And either someone strapped a light to this thing and it's just flashing away as it goes around. I don't know. Or it's got a really shiny thing in its mouth and it's catching on to something. Or we're witnessing the fabric of reality in the Matrix coming apart at the seams. I think we all know what it is. It's definitely the fabric of reality coming apart at the seams. There's no other explanation, right? But this goes hand in hand with the alien phenomena. Like, what if? This is just an interpretation. I'm not saying this is it. I don't know. It's just something I've been thinking of. But what if this light phenomena that we're seeing isn't actually like aliens or anything interdimensional or conscious necessarily, but we're just seeing like the machinations of reality manifest, the behind the scenes spiritual stuff going on, like energy transfer that we're not supposed to witness from our limited perception is suddenly becoming visible to us, and we're interpreting it as alive. But the earth is alive, everything's alive, everything's got energy running through it, so we interpret it as alive, but what they really are just, like I said, pockets of high energy manifesting into the physical realm from the spiritual realm. And it just looks odd to us, like light manifesting in and out in condensed, concentrated areas. And the birds are glitching out as well, because the reality is starting to break down now. And And maybe because we're coming to a crescendo, or we're coming to the end of it all, or perhaps we as people are in some way beginning to see the spirit realm. The veil is getting thinner, and as a result, birds are like fracturing in front of us. They're actually just coming apart, and they are just a part of this world, but we're now seeing through it. And it's like in a video game, the texture's missing on the bird, and all we see is light, because everything's made of light, you know. I'm spitballing here. Who really knows? But yeah, it could be that it's the electromagnetic nature of reality just manifesting in these phenomena everywhere, and the government is now capitalizing on this high magnetic electromagnetic phenomena, by releasing the drones to attack it, you know, and chase after it, and trying to make it seem like we're under attack by aliens to keep that alien agenda going. It's like a soft disclosure, but we're never going to truly admit it. But every year there's always something weird that happens as it ramps up each year to like tease that aliens are on the way, or something like that. But really, this is just stuff happening that's completely out of our control, completely natural and normal to happen, because we live in an electromagnetic universe where this stuff happens, you know, in a spiritual universe where spiritual odd things just manifest like this all the time, in pockets of high energy and spiritual frequency, let's say, or something. Not trying to sound too age, but well, they've made it look like, no, we'll make people think this is alien stuff by attacking them with our drones and making it think that we're at war with them or something. But there's nothing to it. There's literally nothing. They're literally firing ghosts at balls of energy, light, that do nothing and have nothing of impact on the world in any way. Maybe that's what's going on. I don't know. Or maybe it is demons manifesting. Maybe it's that simple. Honestly, guys, I have no full interpretation of this right now, of what they are exactly. All I know is they're not new. I've seen them before, 10 years ago. And they seem pretty benign then, as that video I just showed you then. It seems odd. I think they're using anything they can to push forward the alien agenda, including natural phenomena like light stuff. Because if we are in a little season, then they're going to push for the coming betrayer, the world teacher, which will reveal himself, you know, in 2025, which we're about to go into, you know, according to Helena Blavatsky and Alice Bailey, you know, and all the Theosophical Society and their works. The Age of Aquarius is manifesting, and we're now going into this new golden age where the betrayer will come and guide mankind through into this next step of human spiritual evolution, you know. And he'll be Jesus, basically, and he'll bring together all the religions as one, and for the New World Order, the New Age religion for the New World Order, and all this type of stuff. And aliens go hand in hand with that. And could it be they're just trying to prep people softly to accept the Lucifer when he comes out calling himself the betrayer as an alien? Let's make sure we just do something to crush all that flat earth nonsense before we start pushing forward more of the alien stuff. So let's do the flat earth experiment, and then we'll do aliens manifesting to subconsciously plant the seeds in people's minds of the big thing to come in the future. Because they're probably going to fake a massive alien invasion. The betrayer will turn up and save us, and then he'll probably say they're going to come back with a vengeance. And we were speculating with Nephilim Death Squad that the grey aliens are what we're going to defeat. And the thing about the greys is they are like fleshly mechanical meat suits that have been created for spirits to inhabit so they can interact with our world. But they're useless. They biodegrade really quick and they can't reproduce. They're very limited with what they can do. Is it possible the good aliens are going to destroy the bad aliens, which are the greys? But really, it's just Lucifer destroying his own assets. He created the greys, and he's going to destroy the greys to forward his agenda. You know, and then he's going to tell the whole world, we push back the flying saucer, controlling grey aliens, but that was just a search party. They were just there to make the way for the mothership. The mothership's coming, guys, but don't worry, we're here to prepare you for the coming battle. We're going to give you this technology and going to advance you physically and mentally. We're going to get you ready to become a member of the Galactic Federation of Light or something like that. We're going to help guide you through this consciousness expansion frequency, increasing moments in time of this golden age. ready for when the Greys come back with a giant mothership to finish the job, and you're going to push them back with our help, or something like that. You know? And I'm talking about every bloody Hollywood film that's ever existed here, for good reason, because that's the programming. And you can imagine it, can't you? You know, that's just Lucifer destroying his own guys, the Greys, so he can pose as the savior of all of humanity, the Maitreya. He'll tell you that, well, I'm actually Jesus, and the Christians kind of got it right, but didn't really. They missed this point, you know, and it's kind of, and all religions were kind of right in a way, but they all kind of didn't realize this, and that. But I'm here to settle it and make it all clear what was really going on, you know. And by that point, because they did attack us with aliens, they did release the UFOs and release the Nephilim horde from underground, and people were torn apart and zapped with lasers, and buildings collapsed and cities leveled. People were thankful for Lucifer to turn up and save them by that point. They were exacerbated, you know. And then once that's over, we'll have a period of peace where we advance and accelerate in preparation for the coming war, for the return of the mothership of the alien Greys or something. But what really happens is New Jerusalem appears for the final end times Gog Magog war before the final judgment. And that's how you would deceive all the nations, is it not? You know, it's the only way to do it. Make everyone believe they're under attack by aliens. That's the only way to deceive all the nations to come together as one. It's the only way. And you can see it coming to fruition now. Yeah, if this is a little season, then yeah, the time is short. We're at the back end of the little season. We're not in the middle or the beginning. This is the back end. So we're going to start seeing more alien stuff occur. We're going to start seeing more anti-Christian, anti-biblical cosmology stuff appear. We're going to see more pro-evolution, eugenic stuff appear. We're going to start seeing an odd blend of occult, theosophical religion appear, which is kind of atheistic, scientistic, occult stuff. You know, it's kind of, we are all gods, there isn't a god type of religions. Magic is real and we can harness it to control people type of religions. I'm going to see a pushback against Christianity because aliens are suddenly manifesting, and you can't have aliens and Christians at the same time, you know, because it's kind of, wow, did Jesus come to save the aliens? You know, that kind of attitude. It's all kind of happening now. Slowly coming to fruition, isn't it? And who knows? Who knows what's in store for 2025, but I know, we should know because they wrote it down and told us over and over again, they're planning to release some kind of world teacher on the stage just in time for 2025 or during 2025. You know, this is like a plan 100 years in the making. I think they take it very seriously. They're going to do something, aren't they? I don't think they're going to waste the time. And maybe they'll do it next year to throw us off, who knows. But it's interesting. It's interesting. We're living in very interesting times now. What a month. What a month it has been. And again, I wish I had all the answers to explain to you what's going on with this UFO phenomenon. I think it's a bit of man-made stuff, a bit of electromagnetic frequency stuff, a bit of manifestation of angels stuff, a bit of manifestation of spiritual entity stuff. I think it's a bit of all of it, because they're all working together to create an illusion, to create a show, you know, to get us to all come together as one to fight against the camp of saints. That's all it's for, and alien invasion stuff is a part of all of this. So yeah, it's coming. It's coming, isn't it? You know, I don't know when, I don't know how it's going to manifest. I don't think there's any fear to be had over this, you know, as long as you stick by the John 3:16 principle, you know, and believe that God sent his only begotten Son to perish that we may have everlasting life through his sacrifice. As long as you believe that with all your heart and all your soul, you're covered, you're saved, you know, and you have nothing to fear fundamentally, because I said this on the Nephilim Death Squad, the worst they can do is kill you. They can end the body, they can end the spirit, the physical. But we are not simply just physical beings, and they can't take your soul. Like, and your salvation is secure. So it's kind of, don't worry too much. Okay, I mean, Raven said it well. It says, well, we're all going to die anyway, so what are we scared of? No one lives forever. It's that kind of thing. I thought that was an interesting way of interpreting it and taking it. We're told to fear not 365 times in the Bible. For good reason, because what is there truly to fear if you've got salvation under your belt, if you've got Jesus and you have God on your side? Nothing to fear. And that's kind of what we have to remember through all of this. That's the real takeaway of all of this. Because it's going to get weird, man. Some weird stuff's going to happen in the next year. Really weird stuff. Okay, and a lot of Christians who aren't conspiracy theorists aren't ready for it. The churches have not prepared them for this. There will be a great falling away because of it. When aliens turn up, there are going to be many lukewarm Christians out there who will lose their faith. Because alien invasion doesn't fit into the tribulation narrative. And they won't know what to do. And they'll probably assume maybe none of it was true. That's gonna happen. It's sad. I was also speculating maybe 10% of the human population, when the mothership appears, will die. And I mean that through shock. The hearts will stop through fear and shock. It'll be so completely out of their ability to comprehend through their own perceptions and paradigm that they won't know what to do with the information, and it will kill them. I imagine the body will go into shock and have a stroke or something. Like I imagine that will happen too. It'll be chaos. It'll be absolute chaos if a giant 16,000 by 16,000 mile wide mothership appeared in the sky. People would not deal with that very well. And even then, like aliens running around, or the Nephilim horde being released, as Connor would say from the Cult of Con, all of that kind of stuff is terrifying stuff. And people are going to lose their faith in those moments. And I feel like it's probably only people like us in this very small group. I feel weird saying this because I don't like to sound like we're special because we know more than those people. But it's kind of like, I feel like we're going to be the only guys who aren't blindsided by whatever happens. It's kind of like, oh, so it is playing out like this. Oh, we've thought about this. We're already kind of semi-mentally prepared in some odd way. And it sounds weird and ridiculous to say, it really does, but it's kind of like, if you haven't considered a little season angle, you're in for a nasty shock and things start to play out the way they're about to play out. You know what I mean? And it's funny because some Christians, I feel like, have also been primed to accept the Maitreya as Jesus. Because the futurist eschatology says that, well, we're waiting for Jesus to come, then establish 1,000-year reign of peace on earth. And Helena Blavatsky and Alice Bailey also talk about there'll be a new golden age once the world teacher appears on the stage. So it's kind of like there'll be many Christians who believe that eschatology of futurism that will fall for the Maitreya's lie when he says, I am Jesus. You kind of misinterpreted what I was saying. All religions are kind of right. We're all one, And yes, I've come to establish a millennial reign. So many Christians will say, oh, this must have been what Jesus, this must be Jesus. This must be what it's really about, And they will just go with him, believing they're being good Christians. Just go along with Lucifer because he's here to establish his millennial kingdom. And they'll think like, oh, this is the person we Christians were trying to tell you about, That's the attitude some of them will have. Other Christians will be like, oh, this doesn't make any sense. I don't know what's going on. Maybe Christianity was wrong. And then there's going to be us screeching in the corner over there saying like, this is the trick of the devil, man. None of this is true. That's not Jesus. This is a false savior. We're screwed. This is the little season. This is the little season of Satan. It's kind of, don't fall for these tricks. Like, they are not our friends. And then people will look at us and go, what do you mean you don't want to join humanity to fight against the evil invading aliens? What do you mean you don't want to take the help this blessed being is offering us to become better and able to fight back against this scourge that's genociding humanity right now? It's kind of like, who are you to deny becoming a part of humanity's army to protect humanity from extinction. What are you, some kind of backwards lunatic? And that's when we get beheaded, you know, or killed, or, you know, for being traitors to humanity, that type of thing. It's all interesting. It's going to play out this way, or maybe not, because the thing is, because we're talking about these concepts and it's becoming more popular, and as these ideas grow, I feel like in a way it's kind of putting a spanner in the plan of Satan. It's kind of, and God works all things for good, you know. I think in a way it's kind of like Satan had this plan we're talking about, and now he's going to have to try and come up with something different because we've kind of figured it out. And it's like, oh, damn it, they figured it out. I've got to come up with something else now. Maybe that's what's going to happen, and what will happen in the end will be more like a rushed, convoluted, tacky, cheap, nothing burger in some way. That's Satan's like fumble to slap together last minute, saying, they'll never expect this, you know. Because in the end, he's already lost and he's going to lose. So there we go. Anyway, I rambled on. I went on for a while there. I think I'll take a break. I've been going for an hour, and I think we'll get a guest on to talk about her new work. So, Nicolette, if you are listening, I will send you now the link to the Zoom meeting I'm about to start. I'll just quickly join with audio. I will get the link, and I'm going to email that to you now. And then you can join Zoom, and we can what you have to share. So here we go. I'm going to send you the link via email, and you just hop into that room when ready, and we'll get straight into it. Okay. But yeah, guys, any questions you want to throw at me while I'm waiting here? Anything you want to say? I'm going to read the chat a little bit and see what's going on. It's good to see you all. Like, it's good to be back. Like I said, I've been off, been taking a break. I've been focusing on family. I've been dealing with all the scary newborn stuff you have to deal with a newborn, like sickness and gripe pain and gas and crying and screaming and feeding every 3 hours and having a toddler who's also adjusting to the new norm, and all the good parenting stuff I've been dealing with. I just have not had time to do anything with the channel, but we're getting into a routine now. We're settling down, and it's good to be back. And I thought I've got to do one last show just before the new year comes in, and this is my chance to do it with you guys. So let's see who we've got. So science was originally called natural philosophy based on theories. One they casted the spell, spelling it science, and then all of a sudden it became true, factual, regardless of actual evidence. Yeah, a lot of science so-called is not as factual as people like to say it is. That's true. A lot of it's based on faith. Every eye will see him works more in harmony with flat earth. Yeah, that's true, Matthias. Did he take down his old videos now? Says Eric Green. I don't know. I don't follow those people. I don't care. All religions are the same is key to deception, says Radioactive. Yeah, it's a big part of it, absolutely. It's time to do the right thing and join Starfleet in the Galactic Federation. Your galaxy needs you. That's right, Adam. That's right. All of us are miracles of the times. It's downright mind-boggling. We are alive right now in present day. Yes, we are a peculiar generation, says G-Man. It seems that way. We're definitely in an interesting times for sure. Paul, there's only like 500 people watching the show right now. That's not enough to overturn the plan of Satan. Sorry to be a Debbie Downer, says Paul. No, I agree, but my videos do also get like 50,000 views sometimes on a good day. And it's growing. There's more and more and more people learning about the little season stuff. It's spreading like wildfire. And we're in the infancy of it. This is just the beginning of this truth coming out. But maybe it's too late. Maybe it's going to be a year too late or something. Maybe this is the problem. Like, maybe the truth may be coming out now for those who have the ears to hear and want to know the truth and will find the truth and are searching for the truth. But maybe we're already at the end of the season and it doesn't matter. There's not enough time for enough people to find out to make enough change. That's you're talking about being a Debbie Downer. Maybe I'm being a Debbie Downer now. I don't know. there is always that to think about. What's the most mind-blowing thing you've learned in 2024, says JC Follow JC. Well, Joe, what was the most mind-blowing thing I've learned? That is a good question. It's hard to blow my mind these days because I've been doing this for so long. I really am liking the Gunnar Heinsohn thing we did. I think having real archaeological evidence to suggest and pretty much prove that history has been removed from our timeline and that there really was a cataclysmic event that wiped out 90% of the population in the 1st century is mind-blowing. But we already knew that, but it's amazing to have that clarification and certainty behind it with real archaeological evidence. That's kind of mind-blowing, really, that we have that under our arsenal to use in this time to convince people. And I'm thankful that we found those presentations, and you found them, obviously, Joe, and then sent them to me as well. And I think we've helped a lot of people with that. Feel more confident talking about these ideas, and that we're not just pulling it out of nowhere, and it's not just mere speculation. So there you go. There's a roundabout answer. I watched the podcast you were in this morning. It was really good, says JT. Says SP to JT. What podcast was that? Fill me in. Well, I've been waiting all day for one of y'all to post something. I've been listening to reruns all day, JT, and understanding conspiracies as truth unfiltered. that's nice. Thanks for that. I'm flattered. Yeah, like I said, I've been busy. The familying, is that a phrase? I don't know. And I'm sure JT has his excuses. Sucks when your own people say different things to be looked at as special. Timeline 500s in 1st century. Yeah. Why would Jaren's channel not be there? Crystals, good or bad in a nutshell? Crystals, I wouldn't say are necessarily bad in and of themselves, but you can use crystals to do amazing things, like such as our phones, for example, which can therefore be used for bad things. But crystals are a part of God's creation, so I wouldn't say they're inherently evil. It's certainly what we do with them that can make them evil. Now, I will just say Nicolette is here in the groups. Let me just allow her in. And I'm going to share the screen with you guys now. Nicolette, can you hear me? Are you there? Anything? Can you hear me? Hello? Are we good to go? I think we may be having some technical difficulties. This happens. This happens all the time. I'll check the chat while we're waiting. Everything takes time. Mount Meru, Black Rock is at the centre of the earth, where Santa is. North Pole, making a list, checking it twice, says Dabbing Good. Absolutely. 1,500 by 1,500 by 1,500 miles, says Marino. That's right. That's New Jerusalem. Lots of stuff. Family obligations this time of year, but I'm ready for 2025, says Joe. That's right, and I believe, Joe, you are going to be doing a Bible reading every single day, is it? Which I will be following along with you as well, Joe. Thank you very much for that. It looks like Nicolette's trying to figure out her audio issues over there. You do your thing. That's fine. I'm going to keep talking. And Constantine, we trusted you once before. Every time I theory, I think of SpongeBob making a rainbow with his hands, and he says, "Imagination." That's true. Where can I find the source for that? No worries. Okay, everyone's having a bit of a conversation there. That's great. Let me just check Zoom, see if there's anything I can do on my end to help Nicolette out here. There's nothing I can do on my end, Nicolette. I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe you just need to check your audio and video inputs and outputs in the bottom left corner. Maybe you can make sure you're connected to the right ones there. While I'm waiting for any sound to come through from Nicolette there, I'll just keep talking to you guys. Jaren's channel is still up, says Digital Wilderness. Well, there we go. Where does the Bible say the floating city will be 16,000 by 16? I was over exaggerating. It's 1,500 by 1,500 miles. It does. That's where it says it. That's where it gives you the description. I speak to family and friends about the UFO. Most can't get their heads around it. It's like they can't see it and would rather talk about something else. Yeah, well, I think a lot of people are just over it, aren't they? It's like, I haven't got time for UFOs. I got bills to pay. Yeah, yeah, that does happen. I'm ready for 2025. All these rabbit trails I've been down finally come to fruition. Yeah, Revelations 21, 14 through 21 talks about the measurements of New Jerusalem there, Kyle, if you were wondering. Let's see. Has Nicolette figured it out? Have you got there yet? Can you hear me? Can you try saying something? Nope. I don't think she can hear me. I think that's the problem. Odd. Very odd. I love the smell of barbecue. Snake in the morning. Smells like victory. Have they censored her? I don't know if they censored her or not. I have no idea. She wants to talk about volcanoes today. She's for those who don't know, she has a new YouTube channel. She came onto my channel on my last live Q&A at the start of the month last month and shared her theory on the saints and the portraits that are all over the earth and how they all look the same, showing that whoever witnessed these saints clearly had an image in their mind of what they actually looked like, kind of corroborating the idea that the millennial reign really did happen and people really did witness the saints resurrected and really did know what they looked like and painted them wherever they were. And also talking about how the Virgin Mary representations may actually be a representation of the Bride of Christ instead, which is really interesting. Anyway, she went on to make her own YouTube channel since then. She's just started off and she's released another video recently about volcanoes and how they didn't seem to actually exist until Mount Vesuvius. And that's quite interesting. It's possible that volcanoes only existed when tribulation began, which is quite fascinating. So we're going to talk about that. She has a presentation to share when she can figure out how to get this Zoom to work. And I think she's struggling here. Let me see if there's anything I can do at all to help her. Nothing? No. I've got my headphones in. Maybe is there a chat? Is there a chat I can talk to her through on this? Everything okay? Let's see what she's might be best for her to hop off and hop back in. I don't know if you can hear me there, Nicolette, but maybe if you want to come out of the group and click back in, maybe that might help you. She says she can't hear me. Okay, let me just switch audio here. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me at all? Anything? Okay, tell you what. I'm gonna end this, start a new one, and send you the link for the new one. Maybe this meeting is just a dud. Okay, let's try this. Technical difficulties, guys. Technical difficulties. So I'm gonna start a new meeting. Let's see if this will work. New meeting. Join with audio. Get invite link, and I'll send her a new link. There we go. Let's see if this one works. And I'll go back to the chat. Let's see what's going on. Trump wanting Greenland is suspicious. He wants Greenland. Is he going to invade? I never heard about that. That sounds new to me. Take out the cartridge and blow, and it always works, says Adam. Yeah, back in the day, those were the good old days. Do you remember when you had the PlayStation 1 and the disc wouldn't spin at the start, so you had to kind of spin the disc and then slap the thing down and hope that would be enough to keep it going and it maintained its momentum as the energy kicked in? Those were the days, yeah. I don't think it's going to work this time, unfortunately. I'm having to crank up the volume to hear well. Is anyone else having trouble with the volume? Am I too quiet or am I loud enough? You need to let me know, guys, in the chat. That might be a you problem there, Brett, rather than an everybody else problem. I could be wrong though. I don't know. Right, let's allow Nicolette back in. See if this works. Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me at all? Anything at all? I can't hear you. How about we try Skype? Shall we try Skype? I can hear you. Can you hear me? Okay. Okay. Right. So what I'm gathering here is this was your fault, Nicolette, because you've done something to fix this. It wasn't my fault.
It was probably mine.
Okay, there we go. Right, we figured it out. We're on. Everyone can hear you. Let's share the screen. Let me just get the right screen up first. What is it? There we go. All right, and we're live. We're good to go. Nicolette, how have you been?
I've been very good. How about you?
I've been very tired. I'm exhausted.
I know how that is, so yeah, I can only imagine.
Absolutely. But I'm good otherwise. Yeah, so you've got a presentation you want to share with the guys today. We want to talk about volcanoes. Is that correct?
Yes, that is right. So glad that we could figure this out. And do I sound okay?
You sound loud and clear to me. I think we're peaking at similar levels. People will let me know if one of us is too loud or if you're too quiet, and I'll see if I can fix that. In terms of sharing, I think you're allowed to share. Just let me give it a test in the bottom corner and see if you can share what you want to share with us today.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I see that. Well.
Okay, so I've now given all participants abilities to share. Try it now. I think you should be able to.
Okay. Is that how?
That's correct. I'm going to approve that.
Okay, perfect.
You should be good to go.
You let me know when you can see. Can you see my screen?
Not yet, no.
Interesting. Let's see. Oh, I think I have to hit that.
Recording in progress.
It's not that one. Try.
Nope.
Recording stopped.
Definitely not that one. Let's see. Yeah, it'll just say screen share, right? Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go.
Perfect. It's a learning curve, but I think you've got there.
As I've only done Zoom meetings with you so far, so
there we go.
So getting it all figured out. But yes, yeah, if you can see my screen, these are just some of the points I put together. I try to keep it brief, but just to go over this new volcano theory I've been working on. So let's go ahead. So I guess I should kind of backtrack on how this even came to be. Basically, this came up a few months ago. I was reading in the Old Testament, and as you know, there's just many mentions of different weather events throughout Scripture, especially in the Old Testament. And there's many mentions of thunders and lightnings and storms and tornadoes and hail and earthquakes and just about everything you can think of. And I was reading through some of that, and it just dawned on me that there was nothing about volcanoes mentioned. And so I decided to research just to make sure I hadn't missed it somewhere in scripture. And sure enough, no, there was no volcanic eruptions ever mentioned throughout biblical history. So I thought that was a little odd, but that was a few months ago, and I just kind of forgot about it and set that to the side.
Hmm.
And then not too long ago, I watch a lot of YouTube, and the recommended videos come up. Some videos about the Pompeii eruption of Mount Vesuvius started coming up, just some documentaries. So I started just turning those on, and because I'm a big documentary watcher. And then I remembered a few months prior researching about the volcanic eruptions in the biblical history. And so it kind of re-sparked that, and I started looking. And I was like, well, let's see if there's any volcanic eruption records or, documentation through the BC era. So basically anything before Christ. And I looked, and there is not a single historic record of any volcanic eruption before the 79 AD Mount Vesuvius eruption. And I thought, well, that's very odd,
It is.
to say the least. It's so strange. It blew my mind. So I was like, that can't be. And of course, when you look on search engines like Google, and scientists say that volcanic eruptions have been going on for millions of years, and um, and they credit them for, a lot of the Earth's geological formations and different ways that to support their different scientific theories. So they claim that these have been going on since before, humans were even on the Earth and all of these things. And yet there's no record of them
Hmm.
at all. So I even looked through ancient hieroglyphs and like cave paintings or pictographs. No one like painted like a volcanic doodle on any cave. I mean, that's just absolutely absurd. So the first written account was 79 AD. And so I decided to just continue to take a look at that. And looking at these points here, um, and since the 79 AD eruption, there's been many volcanic eruptions recorded throughout history.
Hmm.
And even just since 1883, we've had over 400 alone.
Wow.
So this happens all the time. So to have not had any history before then is mind-blowing. So I decided to look into what science says volcanoes are, because I really didn't recall at this point. I know we learned that in like grade school. And so I like looked it up. I was like, what do scientists say volcanoes are? How are they formed? Why does this occur? And basically, it relies completely on the globe model and the different layers in the globe, the core and the mantle, and it consists of magma or lava, whichever you want to call it. And then the eruptions are created when with plate tectonics, so the plates shift, and it causes a disruption to where the magma within the earth shoots up and causes an eruption. So basically, that's what we're told.
Hmm.
And so, as a believer in biblical cosmology, I was like, well, that doesn't sit right with me. I don't necessarily believe in the globe, and I don't believe in plate tectonics, and I don't believe that volcanoes are formed over millions of years and all these things. So I was like, there's really no explanation for these. Um, and then, of course, science also uses volcanoes to support their other theories. They're credited with climate changes, mass extinction events, and even kickstarting the formation of life from single cell organisms into the first living creatures. So they use it to support evolution. And then I thought this was interesting. NASA released an article in 2018 claiming there are volcanoes on other planets which have probably resulted in the creation of extraterrestrial life. So the same way they say we were created, now that can happen on other planets because they have volcanoes. So
Mm.
it's just a whole deceit, that they're pushing around these volcanoes. So I decided to look specifically into the 79 AD eruption since it's really the first account that we have. And so that eruption caused a great devastation to many Roman cities, with the main one being Pompeii. And this was during the reign of Emperor Titus, who we know is the one who led the siege against Jerusalem and studied and destroyed the Second Temple. So, I mean, I don't see that to be a coincidence. The first mention of any volcanoes is during that time period under that ruler.
Mm.
And then this catastrophic event was documented by a Roman historian named Cassius Dio. And his record detailed some really odd events accompanying the eruption, including the appearance of giant-sized creatures all around the city, smoke completely blotting out the sun for an extended period of time, making the day turn into night, was his words. There were reports of sounds of trumpets, and there were mass deaths of men, cattle, fish, and birds. And he also noted many violent earthquakes and then a great pestilence affecting the survivors. So basically, a lot happened.
Sounds like a tribulation event to me.
Right. So that was
okay.
that was exactly my thought. I was like, okay, so that sounds a lot like what's detailed in Revelation.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fifth trumpet judgment that's recorded in Revelation 9 describes a spiritual army released from the pit to kill a third of men with fire and brimstone, along with the darkening of the sun caused by the smoke that's released from the pit. And then Revelation 16 describes the fourth vial judgment, causing men to be scorched with great heat. And the fifth vial judgment is described as being poured out on the seat of the beast, causing its kingdom to be full of darkness. So I saw a lot of similarities between these Revelation events and the description of Cassius Dio. So what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a fascinating point. I watched a video when you released it, and I was like, yeah, I never even considered that before. It's a given. You think it's a given that of course volcanoes have always been around. Like obviously they're everywhere. Okay, like you can't get away from volcanoes. Apparently, if you just look at like a map of eruptions, they're going off all the time. I used to follow a YouTube channel called Suspicious Observers ages ago, and he was always talking about volcanic activity and eruptions and earthquakes and solar flares and all these type of things. So I've always just considered it to be a given that they were always there. But when I saw your video, I was like, really? No mention of any volcanoes before Pompeii? Are you joking? Like before Mount Vesuvius? And I was looking the other day, and someone made me. I think we were talking about it with you, weren't we? And there's another volcano. Is it Iceland or Greenland? Is it Iceland? I think it's Iceland. There's an Icelandic volcano. And that also was said to be one that popped off and caused a mass problem event, shall we say, in the first millennia. That's what people have equated that to be. Like, I think it was the 500 one, or maybe the 900, the 8th century one, or the 9th century volcano eruption or something of that particular volcano in Iceland that caused famine everywhere and issues as far as China. So it seems like if Vesuvius wasn't the first, or if all those events were the same thing, it seems like it wasn't just Vesuvius that popped off at that moment. It was multiple volcanoes all suddenly appearing all at once all over the earth. Now, if you want to talk about something that could wipe out 90% of the Earth's population in one go, and we know that there are volcanoes everywhere today, still erupting today, like I said, was it 400 in 1 year? Then is it possible all these volcanoes did just all appear all at once and erupted all at once in the first century? I mean, could you imagine such an event? I don't know, but I'm thankful for what you've compiled here, and I think it's fascinating.
I agree with you. I think these were probably all at the same time.
Hmm.
Um, and it seems so the start, the fifth trumpet judgment is when they say the angel comes down with the key to the bottomless pit and opens the bottomless pit, and the smoke arises and darkens the sun, and
Mm-hmm.
then the spiritual entities are released. So, I mean, from my perspective, if they're, under the earth, which we know is where the pit, the lake of fire, whatever you want to call it, in order of cosmology, then, are these volcanoes just areas where they burst through after being let out? So just a thought.
Well, yeah, because a
Um,
lot of them do just look like giant craters now, with nothing coming
right.
out of them, and we're just told, oh, that's an ancient volcano. I think you showed that in yours. Or could it just be that a giant burst out of the ground and left behind a giant crater? Who knows? You might find this one interesting. Actually, there's I did a video maybe about a year ago now, and it was someone who's doing research in Jordan. I think it's in Jordan, in the Middle East. I think it is. I think it is Jordan. I can't remember. I need to look it up and find it. I can get it on Google Maps and probably show you. But there's basically a giant black hole in the Middle East. It's enormous. Like it spans a huge. You can see it on Google Maps quite clearly from space. It's there. It's like a dot has just been put into the earth. It's this giant hole, and it's just black rock scattered for miles and miles and miles and miles and miles surrounding this black hole, and it looks like something exploded and just layered black rock everywhere. And it's called the Black Desert. That's what they call it, and there's odd rock formations all throughout it, and that's what the video was about, because these rock formations seem to depict the progression of a embryo of a reptile of all things, progressing through the stages of cell division. It's really odd, a really odd thing. Someone sent me the information and wanted me to make a video about it, but I noticed this enormous crater there, and it seems bigger than any volcano I've ever seen. And I'm thinking, like, I was speculating, was that the pit? Was that where it opened? Was that where the agent went down with a key to the bottomless pit? Was that it? Is that where the locust came out of or something? Because I've never even heard of it until somebody pointed it out to me and wanted me to make this video about it. I'm gonna have to get it up. And show you.
Yes, that interests me for
let me
sure.
Say Jordan Black Deserts. And if we get images up, let me share the screen with you so you can see what I'm looking at.
Okay. Perfect.
Wait a second. So share. Replace current share, and I'll share my. Okay, can you see this?
Yes.
Okay, so
Okay.
this is where it is. This is the region, I believe.
Okay.
And yeah, at the top there you can see the hole already. Just to the north of that red. It's like this black patch, and it's just rock everywhere for miles. Miles and miles and miles, just fragments of black rock, just placed on top of everything. It just goes on and on and on. Honestly, it's an unprecedented amount of space we're talking here, and you have these odd formations everywhere, all throughout it, and that you can only see from very high. And people have been doing studies on these things for ages, and I was just I did my own video on them, and they're so odd, so bizarre. If I can just maybe Google Maps might be the best way to do this. Let me know if you can still see the screen.
Yes.
Bloody Air Jordan. Who cares about Air Jordans? Honestly. Let's go on Maps. Yeah, you can still see this, yeah?
Oh my goodness. Yes. It's a lot of rocks.
Wait a second. Let's change that to terrain. No, layers. There we go. So yeah, this is it. This is the Black Desert. So this huge swath here is nothing but black rock. Like for scale, I mean for scale, that section alone is as big as Sicily. shall we say? You know what I mean? It's not a small piece of land by any stretch. And right in the center, at the top of it, is this thing. It's just an enormous black pit called Al Safa. It's just molten blackness, just as far as the eye can see. It just goes on. If you were in the middle of it, you wouldn't see the end, you know, because it's just an unfathomable amount of land from our tiny perspective. And it's nothing but black rock, just black darkness. It's enormous, absolutely enormous. And it's not even a volcano. It's not even that raised. It's just a giant hole in the ground. And clearly something exploded here and just scattered rock everywhere and just landed where it landed, and that's created what we call the Black Desert. And they don't really talk about it. No one really talks about this or discusses it. It's got some, like I said, odd rock formations in the middle of it all. And you're talking about, obviously, just volcanoes, but I don't know. I'm thinking the location of this is fascinating because it's not too far away from this particular area. You know what I mean? So who knows what? Yeah. I don't know. What do you think about that? I'll throw the ball back to you. That's just something I remembered from my research.
No, thank you for sharing. That is fascinating. And yes, it's extremely close to Israel. So very interesting with that as well. I mean, really, as far as volcanoes go, they're literally just openings in the earth. They're not all these big mountains. We think they're the tops of like mountains or blown off or something, but really they're just openings in the crust or the surface, whatever you want to call it. And the only reason they get tall in shape is because of buildup, because of the lava flows. So they're really just these openings. And of course, lava comes out, which then you have to consider, where does lava come from if you don't believe it comes from the middle of the globe Earth, you know, and if you watch videos of just lava flows, I mean, the Bible describes the lake of fire, and I don't know what else you could describe those as other than the lake of fire. I mean, it just...
Well, absolutely. It's the very definition of a lake of fire.
Right.
It is there, yeah. I agree. Unless you want to talk about maybe the sun's surface. I've heard that argument before, that is a giant lake of fire in the shape of a sphere or something, but the thing, volcanic eruption is the closest thing we have that we can relate to and understand.
Yes.
Yes,
absolutely.
It's a good one.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And I can't believe I've never seen that place before that you just showed. That is...
It's one of those. It goes under the radar until someone points it out to you, isn't it? It's an odd looking place, and I think there was a team archaeologists who wanted to do their own expedition out there to study these things. And the person who was doing it was pretty religious, and she was saying this is evidence that we've been seeded by an alien race because they're showing genetic engineering written in the rocks or something like that. Apparently, they were in communication with the royal family of Jordan to get the permission to go out and do this expedition, but they've been on hold and they're not letting them do it for some reason, and it's getting all weird and conspiratorial about it. I don't know much about that, but I told their story in the video, what they believe is going on and what they think's happening to them, you know, and what's happening. And it's just... I couldn't stop thinking about the giant gaping black hole that was there. You know what I mean? And they don't even seem to care about that. Like the people who wanted to make the video and share their research, and this team, I've just spent like an hour just staring at this thing when I first found it. Like, what the hell is this? Like, what the hell is this giant pit right next to Jerusalem that no one's talking about? Like, is this a Mandela effect? I thought, like, does nobody know this is here? Like, has nobody bothered to look? And now you're talking about these, like, in the first century, and literally all volcanoes appeared all at once and made the sun go black and created a lake of fire, and so like judgment by fire, you know what I mean? Talk about pouring as well. That's a very specific type of language, and have a liquid, like volcanic liquid, just making its way through the land and just destroying everything in its wake, you know what I mean? That's very much like a vial being poured out, isn't it? The language is there, and it's it's a lot to think about with this one. A lot to think about. Let's see what the people in the chat are saying about this as well. You can keep talking while I try and find some interesting comments if you've got anything else to say.
No, I was just gonna, you talked about the weird formations outside of that pit. Another weird thing about volcanoes is their association with high UFO activity,
Mm.
which of course. And so UFO activity is very high in areas where there are many volcanoes, like Hawaii, like Central America. And there's just so many witness reports of people seeing UFOs either going into a volcano and then not coming back out, or simply coming out of a volcano, or just being in the midst of them. So that just shows that, I mean, they're going somewhere. If they go in and don't come out, where are they going?
Mm.
Um, and there's, I mean, a vast number of reports of these. And I even watched this one documentary in Hawaii, and they were asking some of the locals about the UFOs around the volcanoes. Actually, I think it was Ancient Aliens I was watching, and were they were asking some of the locals, and they were like, oh yeah, we see them all the time coming in and out of the volcanoes, and it's just like they don't even report it officially anymore. It's just
Mm.
like, to them it's just normal, it happens all the time. And I was like, that is wild. I mean, that's wild. So obviously it goes somewhere, I mean, so it's going somewhere. So
Mm.
and of course, these UFOs, I mean, are these demonic in nature? I mean, many people would speculate. So are they coming to and from hell through these openings in the earth that we consider to be volcanoes? I mean, I don't know. Just throwing ideas out, because I mean, at this point, it's like I don't know exactly what volcanoes are, but I know what they aren't. And what science tells us can't be it. So, at this point, it's fun just to kind of speculate.
That's all we can do.
Right.
I don't have the answers either, and obviously everyone wants to know what the UFOs currently are. But again, all we have are these stories and observations. Like, they appear to ascend and descend into and out of volcanic entrances. What do we make of that? What does that mean exactly? I don't know. It could be that maybe they are going to Sheol, a literal place under the earth. Maybe they just have their own. Maybe they just have some dwelling under there, and it's not a particularly biblically named place. Maybe they just live underground, and that's just where they chill out. You know what I mean? Maybe they're working with the government in the dumbs or something, and it's just a way to get connected back into where they need to go. I don't know. Or who knows? Who honestly knows? In terms of volcanoes, another thing I want to bring up about volcanoes. I was talking to Joe about this from JT, follows JC, and we were talking about, you're saying volcanoes have been equated with seeding life or something like that, and they always try and link them back to being involved with life and the creation of life through the evolutionary theory. And obviously saying they've pointed to other planets and they can see evidence of volcanoes, and there must have been life on that planet because of the volcano. Well, I think the largest volcano we know of is on Mars, and it's called Olympus Mons. And you look at it, and it's just giant. It's literally like I don't know, an eighth of the size of the planet of Mars, and it's just this giant chunk of volcano that sticks out one side. And it's called Mount Olympus Mons. That's what it's called, And we're talking about the mountain of the gods, and obviously Mount Hermon, where the Watcher class angels descended, and all these type of things. And we were speculating, okay, so we know it's not really a planet floating out in space, okay? And these images we have of this volcano are like composite images. No one's telescope is that good from Earth to witness this thing in the hyper detail they try and show you. It's a computer generated image, you know what I mean? It's not really looking like that.
Yeah.
But I was wondering, what if it actually is an image of some land beyond what we live within, going off of the moon map theory? So you've probably heard of that before, haven't you? Fives of Cosmos, that there's more lands beyond our section of the land, and we're in one little circular area of the larger circle of the Earth, and that's where our sun has its circuit. And what if outer space is just out beyond our section? And what if they do have probes out there, probably just balloons floating off, not actually satellites or anything like that, rockets, just floating above these other lands, and they're just taking pictures and images, and the Mars rover is actually just roving around in these outer lands, which maybe aren't inhabitable anymore because there's no sun there anymore, because it isn't like our land. And what if there actually is a place on Earth called Olympus Mons, where this volcano is that we talk of, and that's what we're actually looking at here. It's some place on the wider Earth, and actually is this enormous volcano there called Mount Olympus, where the gods perhaps did dwell at some point, and they dwelt on a volcano, like the biggest volcano on this plane, shall we say. And Mars isn't like, I don't know, how far did they say it's millions of miles? I don't even know. They give you stupid numbers, don't they? Mars isn't that far away, or at least this volcano that's on this planet called Mars isn't that far away. It's actually a giant volcano somewhere on the greater land, shall we say, beyond the ice wall or something. True outer space. Space that is out away from us. You know what I mean? Something like that. What do you think of that one? Have you heard of that one before?
Yeah, I've watched about the moon map theories and everything. And I mean, I find that very intriguing that there's lands behind, past the ice walls. And, I totally could see that. Absolutely. I mean, we know that they're obviously not on Mars with a Mars rover. We know that they didn't land on the moon. So, of course, that could have been done here on, US soil. That could have easily been faked. But also just the possibility that there are other lands past the ice wall, I think, based on Admiral Byrd's diary and based on how credible that is, and based on other witness accounts that, there's ways to go through the ice wall. So I find that very interesting. But something else I just thought of while you were kind of explaining that and talking about Mount Olympus is the mythology around Mount Olympus being a floating mountain, and how the gods, dwelled on floating mountains in the sky. Obviously, when we do look through a telescope, we can see the planets. We can see that there's something there that isn't like the other stars. I guess is the best way I can describe it. They look different and look a little closer, maybe. So you can see that they're there. There's something there. And, a lot of people say they're the wandering stars and, different things. So, but what if there is on the one that they call Mars, that volcano or mountain that they call Mount Olympus, is there a thought that these are literally the floating abodes of mountains of the gods up there that we've deemed planets that we can't see very clearly? Obviously, NASA puts these computer generated photoshopped things out there. Something's there. We just can't see it very well with the technology we're given. So just a thought, what if there is something up there floating and it is some kind of abode of the gods? And at this point, they're telling us and just laughing at us, like Duper's delight, essentially.
Yeah. Mount Olympus, yeah, exactly. But you could be right. It could literally be that. I mean, we're assuming that there was a releasing of the Watchers that were bound in chains during this catastrophic event of some kind. There was a release of the giants, shall we, the Titans, and people are saying, 200 Watcher class angels who fell to Earth are what caused the volcanoes. And that's what the chat seems to be alluding to here. That's we have. How many volcanoes do we actually have on Earth? Let me find out. 1,500.
A lot, yes.
Yeah, wow, that is. There are about 1,350 here, someone's saying. 500 of those have erupted in historical time. Yeah, there's an unprecedented amount of volcanoes all over the Earth, let's put it that way. So more than 200 Watch class angels, which people are saying there, but I'm open for any answer for this personally, because that's an amazing fact, really, that there was no documented volcanoes prior to Vesuvius. I mean, that's ridiculous. Like, when you actually think about that concept, that's a big deal. That's actually a very big deal. So thanks for bringing that to our attention, Nicolette. I appreciate it. Do you want to tell the guys where they can find your channel and go find out more of the things you're working on currently and what videos you've got lined up for them to go and enjoy on your channel?
Certainly. Yeah, so you can find me. It's biblically based, but if you type in on YouTube, it's biblically based 101 is the handle. I have 2 videos up so far, but I'm working on kind of multiple presentations at one time. I kind of go back and forth. The last video I posted was on volcanoes and goes a lot more in depth to this theory. So if you're interested in learning more, by all means, check it out there. I am going to be uploading more videos on volcanoes as I continue researching this, especially because I've learned now that they cause mud floods. So mud floods and volcanoes are linked. So I'm currently working on that presentation at this time. They're called lahars when they're caused by volcanoes, but it's the same thing. So that is what I will be uploading after I upload my ASMR part 2 that should be coming up very soon. But that is where to find me, and I'm also on Spotify, but I do more on YouTube. So that's really all I have. Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
No problem. Thanks for coming on and sharing that. And we'll get you back on next time you have another wild paradigm shifting concept to bring to us, because you seem to have quite a few of them lately. So that's good. Thanks for your work, Nicolette. I appreciate it. And God bless.
Yes.
So there we go, guys. Nicolette bringing another interesting theory to us. Go and check out her channel, biblically based, or at biblically based 101 as the handle for the YouTube channel. Yeah, good stuff coming out from her there. Interesting thought process. She did mention it there, but she did a video about ASMR and the truth behind that and what it's really all about and how it's dodgy as hell, basically. And that was another interesting video. So yeah, go and check out her work. Sorry if you saw me faffing around there. I was trying to plug something in and it's just fiddly at the back of my laptop. But I was listening. I was doing 2 things at once there. But yeah, that was a good talk. People seem to like Nicolette, which is great. And I wish her all the best with the channel. It's quite small. Let's go give her some support and get it out there. Just like I do with Connor, small channel. Let's give him some love, get them out there, get them to grow. Let's build a new generation of truthers to take over from the old guard, because I'm getting tired. We're all getting tired out here. We need fresh blood into the system. That's for sure. So I'm going to try and do my bit to support any small channel I can who, I enjoy listening to and I enjoy the work. So there we go, guys. So what time are we on? How long have I been going for? I've been going for 1 hour, 48 minutes live. So I'm going to go for another 10 minutes. Any questions closing to this? Anything you want to discuss, guys, let me know. And we can have a bit of a back and forth. God said stars are angels, said Redstorm. You know what, Redstorm? I'm inclined to believe you as well. I think most of creation and many aspects of nature, not just the stars, are angels and have a consciousness behind them which is of an angel and was put there by God for that specific role and purpose. I do believe that. Just watch the ash from fire mixed with water turns to classy like paste. Been trying to explain this for months. Yeah, so volcanoes can cause mud floods. Interesting, eh? God's purpose of volcanoes, clearing out the earth, maybe. Like the way we sneeze or cough. That's an interesting one. I had another one there saying they're basically like zits on the earth. Right. Modern Lemotif says, check out the burnt castles in the area. Salkhad Citadel, Nimrod. I will check out those, but I'll have to copy and paste those things you've just said. Let me have a look now while I'm at it, actually. Sounds interesting. That's going to minimize this, open this. Very faffy. Quickly paste that there. Oh, I see. Yeah, they've got very Romanesque pillars, haven't they? Very, very simple designs, very simple stonework. I wouldn't say they were burnt necessarily, but it looks like they may have been buried slightly. Let's look at this citadel, this one you sent me. Interesting. It does look melted semi, doesn't it? I'll share the screen with you guys. This is the first one. And yeah, it looks pretty weird, doesn't it? It's like a melted castle on top of a hill with not much left. Like it's crumbled away slowly. Oh, interesting. What happened there? That thing looks like it was huge. Interesting. Thanks for sharing that. I'll look more into some of those castles in the area that you were mentioning there, and I'll definitely discuss that again in the future. Yeah, that's an interesting one. What else have we got, guys? What's going on in the chat here? Why don't you drop her link or have it in the description? Because I didn't know she was coming on till last minute, and I haven't had time to do it yet. What an odd question. Why don't you have her link? What do you think? I'm like purposefully like withholding information from you or something? Come on. It's late. I'm tired. And she came on last minute. I've told you where to find her. I'll get the link for you now, shall I, to make you feel better. Biblically based. Let's have a look here. I'm subscribed to her somewhere. Where is it? Podcast. No. Oh, there it is. No. God, I'm subscribed to too many people. I need to purge who I'm subscribed to. I'm going through a long list here. It's becoming very difficult to find who I need to find. I swear I just saw it and then lost it again. Yep, there we go. So, here we go, guys. Biblically based channel posted in the chat. He says, no, it's not copying it. It won't let me copy and paste it. Of course it won't. Of course it won't let me copy and paste it. Let me just go to my channel. Pause that. And let's try it here. There we go. There's biblically based channel. Go and subscribe. You tell you what, I'll even pin it to the top of this chat so nobody can miss it at all. Let's pin that message. There we go. Go and subscribe to Biblically Based. There you go. So now everyone knows now that I'm not trying to con her out of something or gatekeep information or whatever the hell you were trying to imply with your brute comment there. But there we go. Heard. I'll organise my thoughts coherently, Paul. Thanks for the inspiration and truth, says Baba. Oh, okay. I don't know what that's about, but okay. I'm glad I helped you with that in some way. That's interesting. Everyone's talking about a mysterious fog that's taking over parts of America. That sounds terrifying. Good luck with that. Let me know how the fog turns out. Keep me posted in the Telegram group. No mysterious fog here in England, luckily. CFR Network, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. I like Jason Jack too. Found her channel and subbed. Got it, subbed, thank you, brother. Billy Carson, not recommended, says Blix. No, absolutely not. I gave my diatribe at the start about Billy Carson of this podcast. Yeah, snake oil salesman through and through. Never trusted the guy. Glad to see him taken down a peg, but also sad for his eternal soul, and I'm going to pray for the guy. Paul exposed, gatekeeping again. Yeah, apparently I can't help but gatekeep. It's in my blood, apparently. It's what I do. It's nothing to do with being lazy. People have been complaining of sore throats and feeling sick after the fog arrives, says we ain't buying it. Well, that sounds another mysterious thing I'm going to have to look into and make a video about from the sounds of it. By the way, guys, sorry if I've been quiet, if this is too quiet for you. It's a brand new microphone. I am still adjusting the settings. I did increase the gain after I heard the complaints earlier. Hopefully it's a bit louder now and a bit clearer. I don't want to increase the gain too much because it'll start to get crackly and sound a bit funny. But I think I gave it that little bit of an extra boost you guys may have wanted. So let me know if it sounds good there. I'm going to close out this video with a quick New Year thank you, a New Year message. Where am I up to now with subs? I think I'm like 1,200 away from 80,000 subs or something like that. Which is amazing. That's amazing. The channel has grown exponentially in this year. Like, I can't even believe how many people want to listen to me talk. It's ridiculous. And what are you guys doing? You're insane. I've got 78,874 subscribers. I think when I started this year, I was on something like 10,000 or 13,000 or something. So it has grown a silly amount in just 1 year, and I am thankful. I'm clearly blessed, and I don't want to waste this opportunity. And I've done everything I can to try and get as many people to Christ with this as possible. I think that's the only thing worth doing with a channel like this. And I'm hoping it's good enough. And I'm hoping it's making the Father happy as much. I hope I'm fulfilling my own commission here. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know. I think I am. I know I talk about some contentious things. I know I can get under people's skin sometimes. I'm a little bit like Marmite, as we say here in England. Either you love me or you hate me. But the support has been overwhelming, and I am truly thankful for all of it in ways you guys just don't even know. The book has been a blessing in my life. Obviously, it's taken me a year to write the first volume, and I published it in July, and 3,000 copies sold already since July. It's incredible. Like, it's unprecedented how many. That's really good for a first published book, you know. And I don't feel like I'm that good of a writer, so clearly God has helped me and supported me in many ways to get that message out to people. The Nephilim look like clowns, and to help support my family as well, and also give something back to the people who want to support me. I've had a lot of people reaching out for signed copies as well, which is incredible. And the fact that anybody cares enough or about me to want to have a signed copy is very humbling, and I don't want to lose sight of that. It's incredible. It's incredible. And not only have we done that, but in this past year I've managed to build an incredible community on Telegram, and I've made many friends on there and helped others make friends on there. It seems people are telling me they've had meetups, you know what I mean, through that channel, and that's incredible. That there's now a place for not only the subscribers but for me to have fellowship as well, which I never knew I would be able to get through YouTube alone. But the Telegram group has been a blessing to many people, including myself, and I'm thankful that God has allowed us to create such a platform. So if you're interested, guys, join the Telegram and join in on the conversation. It hasn't been tainted with trolls or shills yet. I've got MK Ryan moderating that thing, scouring for anybody who's looking to cause trouble, but it seems to be a peaceful place where people have good conversations, friendly debates, and fellowship, which is what we need. And it's lonely out there, being a truther, and let alone a little seasonist now. That's even lonelier as a Christian truther, a little seasonist. It doesn't get more isolated than that. But we're not alone. There are people out there, you know, and we seem to have found each other, which is amazing. And every week, whenever I do a live show, people turn up and get involved, and that's incredible. Like, we've built something good here, guys. Let's ride this train for as long as we'll be allowed to ride it, thanks to the algorithm gods. It's been a good year. It's been a good year for the channel. It's been a good year for community. It's been a good year for the truth. I know things can seem pretty scary out there. I know the world is falling apart at the seams, and society and standards and morality is degrading at an accelerated rate. But I see groups like this and the conversations we have and the people like you, and it gives me hope. And I hope it gives you hope too, to know that there are people waking up, and we are We are seeing things for what they are. God wins. God has won. And we're dealing with a defeated enemy here. We're just hoovering up the chaff here. We're just kind of tying off all the loose ends, aren't we? And everything that was hidden is becoming known. And we're just a part of that journey, I think. And I'm happy for that. I'm happy for that. So yeah, it's been a good year. Thanks for everyone who supported me. Paying it forward. Make sure to go and support Vitaly of Alpha Talks. He's published his own book, Soul in the Belly. Got my copy today. Seems like an easy read and packed full of information about dietary health, and biblical diets, and the importance of gut microbiome and health. Something we all need to work on in this day and age, me included. Again, I've got a signed book here I'm sending out to somebody in Australia. Thanks for all the people who send me emails. I'm sorry I don't reply to everybody. I try to do what I can when I can, but I'm terrible for replying, but I do read my emails. So thanks for people who reach out there as well. It's been incredible. If anyone wants a signed copy of the book, I do have 5 paperbacks available. Just send me an email and we can sort out getting one to you as well. Obviously, thanks for all the newcomers on the channel as well. Thanks for the collaborators. Thanks for everybody who's come on to the Truth of Therapy sessions to share their stories. I'm thankful for the little group I've got going now with Joe and Vitaly in the Bible study that we have going there. We're all sharing information, and the networking we've done this year that I've managed to... The people I've met this year are incredible online. The podcasts I've been on and the relationships I've built there. I really feel like we've helped bring people closer to Christ. I feel like what I've done and what the support you've given me has helped me have the confidence to say what needed to be said when it needed to be said. I don't think I could have done it without knowing that there were people out there who actually agree with me, and support me in what I do. This isn't a one-man show. I know it might seem like it sometimes. I know I go on a bit. But the support you guys give me means far more than you can understand. It keeps me going. Let's put it that way. It's the best way to describe it. And I'm thankful. I'm thankful to God. I'm thankful to Jesus for his sacrifice and for giving me the strength and for saving me. Let's see what 2025 brings. And I have confidence that we're going to go from strength to strength with this. The truth is going to get out even more. And we're going to do this. We're going to be okay. I think we're going to be okay. So yeah, guys, thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. Have a good new year, whatever that entails for you, whatever you'll be doing. And I'll see you in 2025. And as always, God bless.